Greetings, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. My name is Andrea Boykowicz. I'm the Interim Director at Oakland Planning and Development Corporation. I am so happy to see your smiling faces. Hello, Kathy. And welcome to our monthly edition of Let's Talk, which is a community meeting that we convene on topics that folks have questions about or have been wondering about or which might be topical. And this month we are here to talk about the Oakland Community Land Trust. And depending on folks' interests, we can just answer questions that you might have, but my colleague Camille Dixon, who is our Community Services Director, is going to be providing a little bit of background about what the CLT is, and we're happy to just kind of be flexible. It's a small group this evening. We're happy to be flexible and to answer your questions. This can go in whatever direction you feel that it needs to go. So with that very informal introduction, I'm going to cede the floor to Camille.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited to talk about the Community Land Trust and what it offers to the Oakland community and how we can go about being of assistance and spreading the word so that everyone understands the true meaning about the Community Land Trust. So I don't know how much you know, so I'm going to start from the beginning and just kind of go with the flow. And please, if you have any questions or you want to stop me in the middle, please feel free to do so. I am open to answering questions, and Andrea is here, so we know that everything can be answered because there's two of us, which is so much better than one brain, especially at the end of the evening. So I won't keep you guys long, and I am a respecter of time because everyone's time is precious. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So I know that some of you may already know about the land trust, so please just bear with me. But for those of you that don't know much, the Community Land Trust started in 2018, and it started with 2 homes. And now we are at almost 20. So we have had a huge growth in just a few years. It really hasn't been that long. So we are working very hard and very diligently to get the information out about the Community Land Trust here in Oakland. As you're aware, there are other community land trust models throughout the city. So we, only serve Oakland. All of our homes are here in Oakland. The Community Land Trust is a support system for land ownership. It allows us to help individuals that have wanted to be homeowners and actually make that come true for them, that dream of home ownership. I think we all have been there. I'm still on that journey personally, but I think everyone gets to a point in their life where they're like, I want to settle down. I want to have a home. I want to invest in a community that I believe in. And this is one of the most perfect reasons on why the Community Land Trust exists. The Community Land Trust is also a model that benefits the Oakland community because it creates permanent home ownership and affordable home ownership. Affordability in Oakland, as we know, is very hard to come by. It's honestly non-existent without the help of programs like the Community Land Trust. I'm sorry, Mr. Brown, did you have a question? I did see your hand go up.
Oh, no, I was just clapping.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I clap with you. And it's hard to say that we are a community of family and we believe in having, home ownership in a atmosphere that is so expensive. As we know, prices of everything are going up. And sometimes home ownership looks like something that that's not obtainable. But programs like ours actually show you how it can be. The Community Land Trust also benefits the community because it requires the home buyer to live in the home. we can go on, and I know each and every one of you here on this call can talk about how we know investors have come in, how we know people that own homes and rent out to students, and why all of that is wonderful. And we need that in this community because we are a university community for several universities. We understand also the importance of home ownership to family and why that is so important so that the Oakland community will continue to thrive. This model supports the buyer in all stages and at different income levels. So getting you to understand that the community land trust has two arms. There's the affordability, which is what we talk about the most because most of the buyers that are coming to us need that affordability help. Need a home that they can purchase in Oakland that will actually benefit their income level. And then we do have a market rate piece of the community land trust. Now, even our market rate is still lower priced. They're equal homes to what you see all around you, but they are at a lower rate than most. Perfect example is we have a home that is on Dunseth, 244. No, 24, yes. And there, I see, oh, okay, I just want to make sure. We have a home that that is a CLT home, that is a market rate. And it is being sold by the buyer who owns the CLT property that is looking to sell to another individual. That actual home does not have affordability restrictions on it, which means someone that is looking for something that does not meet our affordability guidelines, which is a AMI of 80%, which means your area median income has to be of 80% of what the county there, and there's a chart, and these are all things that I go over with you when you come in for a one-on-one, but it gives the, there is no income restriction on a market rate home. Regardless of how the buyer comes to us, whether they need that affordability piece or whether they're market rate, they are given the ability to go through financial coaching and counseling. That is so important for a lot of our buyers that come to us that are saying, I'm not quite sure. I want this. I believe that I'm ready to own a community land trust home. I understand the model because you have gone over it with me, but I need to understand how will this affect in long term? What does this look like to own a home? What are the expenses that go on when it comes to owning a home? And those are all things that we walk everyone through when it comes to the community land trust system and community support that we give to individuals so that they're able to understand what it is actually going to take for them to own a home. The home buying process, as we all know, is not an easy process. It takes time. And there are some home buyers that will come in and they're ready to go. And that's all well and good. But we are here for the long haul. And so that means that we are patient with the people that are coming through the door and we meet them where they're at. We give them the ability to express all of the different emotions and feelings and, you know, where they're at. Maybe their credit is not perfect. Maybe they do need some additional help. That's what we are here for. We are here to provide them with the holistic view of what home ownership is as they walk into the community land trust model. Even after we get individuals to the point where they are ready to purchase, a community land trust home through us. We do educational pieces, which are, are you ready to buy a home? Managing your money, understanding credit. These are all things, understand how to get a mortgage and what that entails. Also giving them the ability to look through our portfolio of homes that we do have so that they have a choice. It's not just something that we're saying like, here's your CLT home, this is where you should go. No, they have the ability to look through the homes that we have, and they are able to find what is going to be comfortable for them at the stage that they are at. We also have many examples on how we don't just leave after purchase. We don't just leave the homeowner. We walk through with them even after the purchase, and even after they have, signed their final documents, that we are there to support them as a community. And we get them involved in community, in the community, what's the word I'm looking for? Outreach, give me another word, Sam.
Neighborhood organizations.
Right, neighboring organizations, and we help them collaborate so that they understand what Oakland can give to their family. Because as we know, it's all a part of buying. You have to feel comfortable in the environment that you are in. We have several different banks that we also work with that do a wonderful job of explaining and working with the individuals that come through our doors to get them to understand that the community land trust as a model, what it has to offer, also on the banking end, what they're saving and why it's affordable. And it gives them some insight to understand at each stage how they are able to get the home at a lower rate that is affordable to them. And I can't speak enough on the affordability, because in this stage of everything that we do with the community land trust, the homes that we acquire, the homes that we may build, it is always with a family in mind that we know is going to be able to pour back into the community. And that is what the land trust truly is about. It is about, bringing families into the Oakland community that will thrive.
Maybe I could, there's just a moment here. I just want to take a chance. Sorry, Camille, I don't mean to interrupt you, but maybe there are people who have questions at this stage. Just might help us in going forward. If anyone has questions or things that they'd like us to talk about about the land trust, questions about how it works, questions about where it is. Davon, I know you've had some questions. I'm gonna call you out mercilessly.
I don't think I have any. I was considering purchasing a home through the CLT, but my girlfriend was too worried about locking in a place, so we're gonna be renting for another year. But maybe you'll be hearing from me within like 8 months or something.
Well, we'll still be here, obviously. Happy to work on the meantime in terms of building savings and credit, if either of you feels like that would be something that would be useful.
Okay, I will definitely follow up with you guys.
When you talk about properties in Oakland, is that defined by the zip code? Or is it defined by the neighborhood? Or exactly what is Oakland for the Oakland Community Land Trust?
That's a really good question, Kathy. So, what is Oakland for OPDC? I think is probably about the same answer. We tend to adhere to the boundaries of the 4th Ward, which is roughly the same as 15213. However, 15213 extends outwards into Squirrel Hill a little bit. Fourth Ward extends out into Uptown just a wee bit. So broadly speaking, the neighborhoods that are defined in the Oakland, so on the city's maps, West Oakland, South Oakland, which includes Oak Cliff, Central Oakland, and North Oakland, which includes Shenley Farms, as well as the arm that sort of reaches up towards Millwood and Cross Palm. So Oakland has a lot of different tendrils, and the neighborhoods are very different. The market for housing in each of those neighborhoods is very different, and the opportunities for securing CLT homes there in those different neighborhoods is extremely different. So the neighborhoods where we have concentrated acquisition and construction thus far are in South Oakland and in West Oakland, with the eye towards trying to preserve areas in Oakland where there already are some homeowners, and to kind of like secure those areas with sort of anchored home ownership, as opposed to starting in the middle of Central Oakland where there are very few homeowners and starting to create them from nothing. We're kind of working in places where we can build on existing strengths, and the CLT will work better, I think, is the thinking, if there are these sort of pockets of concentration where you can see the impact that the stabilizing impact that homeownership can have in the CLT within the fabric of a given neighborhood. So the homes that we've acquired and sold thus far within the CLT are mostly within, as I said, West and South Oakland. We also have a couple pending projects in Oak Cliff, and we have 2 market rate CLT homes in Central Oakland, one on Coltort and one on Parkview. Thus far, nothing in North Oakland, but if you have any leads, let us know.
I will pose a question if no one else has any. So I've heard from some residents that, and not about this program specifically, but just in general, that a lot of folks require basically hands-on assistance with filling out applications. One, do you guys provide that? And 2, let's say someone doesn't quite qualify for a CLT home. Do you refer them to programs that they may qualify for? And once again, is there the capacity there to assist with filling out those applications for those programs, even if they're not under the reign of OPDC?
Camille, you want to talk about all the work that you do?
Yes, so that is all a part of our financial counseling model. We are here to assist in any way possible with filling out applications, with helping them prepare to become homeowners. Not everyone that walks through our door is ready, credit-wise, or understanding exactly what it takes to go ahead and purchase a home. So that the piece that I was talking about when it comes to, the counseling services, that's walking everyone through step by step. So wherever they are at when they walk through our doors, that's where we meet them. There's no cookie cutter way to say, yes, this is the direct path and this is how you have to get there. Everyone's path is different. So we really take a look at credit. We really take a look at, what they're trying to obtain through application or whatever. They can come to us and say, hey, I have an application for a URA grant and I would like to see, I would like to fill it out, but I don't understand. And this is where we come into play with helping them get supporting documentation, walking them through that process, sometimes making phone calls, because there are several different, there are other tiers to the community land trust that exist as well.
Thank you.
So
And
there's very few.
oh,
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to
I'm sorry.
build on that, but if you're satisfied with that answer, we can just move on.
Oh, no, I was just gonna ask about the second part of the question. Like what if someone doesn't qualify for a CLT home, but they qualify for, I'm trying to like, if they qualify for funding to purchase their first home through, I think it's the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency or something like that. Would you guys assist them with that kind of application, even if they can't end up purchasing, a CLT home?
Yeah, so Devon, you've actually just nailed exactly what I was going to say. So that it's very seldom that people come to us who income qualify for the affordable houses that we offer through the CLT, who don't require additional assistance, meaning our affordability is pegged at 80% of area median income. And that's tight, that's a very tight spot for a lot of people to be in, at or below 80% of area median income. It's difficult for a lot of people who make that income level to be able to envision home ownership. And often as not, it requires a fair amount of subsidy to get folks from where they're at to being able to, secure a mortgage and to be able to make the purchase of a house. So there's a variety of different programs that are out there, and we work directly with clients, and we work with the mortgagers, the banks that partner with us in this regard to try and connect folks with every possible subsidy and every possible program for which they're eligible. Sometimes it happens that folks come to us who are very interested in home ownership, and there isn't really a path to be able to get them there. Meaning, even if we were to be able to connect them with all the subsidy that they would need, they're not going to be able to afford a mortgage. Like they're not going to be able to make that monthly payment. There are folks who just don't make quite enough money to be able to do that. We're still working on good solutions there. We don't want to set anybody up for failure. We don't want to hook anybody up with the responsibility for maintaining a house where the monthly budget is so tight that there is no room to be able to handle things break in houses, right? Things break down. And it's a difficult thing to be able to kind of make that final leap for some folks. There is a program that HUD offers, which is actually Section 8. Folks who receive Section 8 vouchers, if they complete a program with HUD and through the Housing Authority, can qualify for federal assistance towards a mortgage that is basically the effect of basically their voucher, the value of their voucher essentially being applied towards a mortgage payment. I mean, I'm simplifying a bit. We have yet to complete one of those purchases. It's a very long road to being able to meet all of the requirements going forward, and it takes a while. And so far, we have a couple of clients that are in the midst of trying to make that work. We're hopeful that in the next couple of years, we'll have some success stories to report there. That's what I've got.
Thank you both.
Sure. Camille, did I miss anything?
No, we can kind of talk about payment assistance within different programs that our bank partners do allow us to tap into and do help individuals. We have the Housing Opportunity Fund that is helped for assistance with down payment. Excuse me. We have the URA. I just said Housing Opportunity Fund. My fault, guys. I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
URA has other forms of assistance that are not Housing Opportunity Fund based. And Davon, what you were talking about also, the First Front Door program, which is through the Federal Home Loan, PHFA offers through Federal Home Loan Bank as well. There's some programs that we've actually connected folks with as well. Sorry.
Wonderful.
And also they'll leave out OPDH, which currently you can only get through certain banks. The bank that we have been using to help individuals apply for that will be First Commonwealth.
What is the 80% of AMI currently, and how often is that figure revised?
The figure is revised based on census projections every year. And there's a table that I'm happy to hunt up a link for and to send it to you. Actually, I believe that the current table is linked at the bottom of our CLT page, and I pasted that link into the chat a bit ago. So it's area median income is figured according to your household size. So somebody who has many members of their household, for instance, 80% of area median income is a higher figure, a higher number than for somebody who's just a single person. Oh, thank you. So yeah, that gets updated every year, but we're still waiting on 2023 numbers. We're still working with 2022's estimates. So we expect 2023 will be dropping anytime now. The trend lately has been upwards. So when we first started this program in 2018, area median income was less than it is now, which actually segues into how we determine like what the restrictions are on an affordable home. So affordability, guaranteed affordability, on the one hand, it means, you know, we are building the subsidy into the house to be able to offer it at a price that somebody can afford at 80% or below of area median income. The restriction that comes with buying that kind of house, first of all, you have to live in it. But second of all, when you go to sell it, if you go to sell it, you have to make sure that it is affordable to somebody who is at the same area median income level that you were when you bought it. So 80% of area median income was a certain amount in 2023. If you sell the house in 2035, for instance, the expectation is that any increase in area median income during that period of time, you can calculate what the affordability means for you at that future date when you go to sell the house. So there is some equity in the rise in median income that you are capitalizing on, as well as the equity that you're sinking into the house, the money that you're paying against your own mortgage. It's less dynamic, if you will, than the market of people who purchase their house for very little and can sell it for whatever the market will bear. There's been a big jump, obviously, in home prices like that in the Pittsburgh region over the last 10 years. And lots of people who bought their houses for, you know, $80,000 are turning around and selling them for $300,000 or $400,000. That's a big jump. You are not allowed to make that kind of, you're not allowed to take that kind of benefit from the market for the house, but you are able to capitalize on the rise of income in the region. So there is some math that goes into figuring out what the permitted resale value is. Trish, you're asking if the house is foreclosed, how does the land trust work? The first part of the answer to that question is that we do everything possible to make sure that it does not get foreclosed. So part of what Camille was talking about before, about how we continue to work with our clients even after they've purchased the house, how we you know, are there to try and anticipate when they might be getting into trouble. We are very keen on making sure that our houses do not ever go into foreclosure. And that's true of community land trusts generally. Nationwide, foreclosure rates are much lower in CLTs than they are in the market generally. And in our case, where we have a financial coach on staff and we're committed to providing that kind of ongoing support for folks, we are hopeful that we're not going to ever encounter that kind of a situation. However, the restriction on what it is that the house can be used for and how much it can be sold for applies regardless of who it is that owns the property. So if, for instance, a bank were to foreclose on a house, we are still the landholders, the deed holders for the land underneath that house. And there is a restriction, a covenant about how the house can be used, and the house can only be used as the primary residence for someone, and if it's an affordable house, for someone who qualifies to purchase it at a rate that is affordable for somebody at or below 80% of area median income. It's baked in. So Not to say that it isn't possible, in a really calamitous situation, that those kinds of restrictions could be withdrawn if there's a desperate situation that I can't quite imagine. We are humans and we are capable of agency, but the purpose of having that restriction there is to make sure that folks don't get into trouble, and also that the house does remain a community asset, a real, in service of the community's interest in preserving affordability. That's why we maintain this ownership through the CLT.
That was a great answer. Thank you very much. You answered it great in the second half. You answered my question. I just want to tell you, this is a wonderful program that you're doing. I admire you guys for this. I saw some of your houses and they look beautiful.
It's fantastic. Well, if you have anybody that, works at Pitt or is a grad student looking for housing, send them our way. We're always interested, not just in securing affordability generally for folks, but also for wherever we can, making it easier for people to walk to work. So we're very interested in anyone who lives in Oakland. You should think about living here.
I told my niece to go look at the houses on Fraser. She lives in Oakland, but she wants to get a bigger house.
Well, by all means, send her along if she's interested.
I sure will. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or anything that someone can think of that they may want to have answered?
So let's say someone does qualify for a CLT home. And then after 2 years of inhabiting the home, they now make, let's say, like $300,000 a year. Can they, and they make a bunch of renovations that go above and beyond what you would imagine them to typically sell that home for? How is there some way to still allow that person to make as much as they could, but still sell it affordably in a way, or is that not possible?
We haven't had, that would be a great problem to have, right? What we'd like for people to be able to choose to, increase their earning capacity and their net worth with the security of the community land trust house that they've purchased. We haven't yet had that problem. At the moment, our leaseholds are structured in such a way that no, you wouldn't be able to recoup the full value of the investment that you'd made should you resell it, because you are still bound to sell the house affordably if you purchased it affordably. It's a way of preserving the subsidy that went into making the house available in the first place, is to be able to pass that along, that said, if it's your forever home and you are committed to staying there, you want to be able to will it to your children and they to their children, you most certainly can do that. The ground lease that we have for our CLTs are effective for 99 years, renewable for another 99. So there's, we have every expectation that people, if they wish, can remain someplace and make it completely their own, just as you would any other house. But yeah, if your purpose is to try and invest in that house as much as possible, if for the purpose of being able to recoup some of that investment when you sell it, it's possible that somebody might make a choice at that point to sell the house, before they make that kind of investment and choose to make that investment elsewhere, where they can, if the purpose is to try and recoup that investment in the resale, they might be better served in a different market.
Thank you. I was just curious.
And under that circumstance, right, if they're making $300,000 a year, probably they have a bunch of options available to them.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone? No such thing as a silly question. Camille, do you feel like we need to, is there anything that we didn't talk about at all that you'd really like to nail?
No, this would be a great time for questions so that we knew what to answer for folks. We have basically given you the outline of the program. But at any time, even if you don't have a question now and you think of something, please feel free. My information is on our website. You can always contact me. And Sam is placing my email in the chat. And so is Andrea. So you guys can always feel comfortable. If there's something that comes up later, you can give me a call. I'll be more than happy to speak with you and, you know, answer any questions that you may have.
Andrea, do you want to plug the block party?
I do. How did you know I wanted to plug the block party? We've recently just completed the construction on 4 new 3+ bedroom houses in the CLT on Fraser Street in South Oakland. And we are so thrilled about this and about the fact that 3 of those 4 have already sold, which is and we would like very much to join with the neighbors to be able to welcome the new residents onto Fraser Street and to just really celebrate a project that required so many different kinds of effort. It's really, I find it really kind of staggering how many different people had to work together in order to be able to make this project happen. So we are having a party on June 3rd, Saturday, June 3rd at noon on Fraser Street in South Oakland. Please come. It's a potluck, but we will also provide food and drink. You know, friends and friends of friends are welcome. And we would like the opportunity to really celebrate everybody that helped us out in making this happen and to welcome the new homeowners to South Oakland. The 4th house, as I said, 3 of them have sold. The 4th house remains unsold, and normally we'd be like, we'd like to be able to sell it, but this allows us the opportunity to conduct tours. So if you are curious to know how these houses came together, Foffman and Associates was the architect, Shaped Development was our contractors, and we are so proud of the work that they did. We are happy to show it off and would be delighted for folks to take a look inside. And it's really quite extraordinary what they were able to do. So the houses are comparatively small, but really roomy. And we're really hopeful. This is a model for future CLT home construction in Oakland. So coming your way. But please come, please party with us and celebrate the CLT and let us know what you think. And thank you all for coming this evening. And if you have any questions, just as Camille said, please don't feel any hesitation about reaching out, and please do help us spread the word. That 4th house on Fraser Street is available. There's a link on our website to the for sale page. It's on our CLT page that was linked earlier. And it's a 3, possibly 4 bedroom house that is visitable on the first floor, supports folks with sort of impaired mobility on the first floor living, 2 bathrooms, a driveway in the back, and a small front yard. They're really adorable, these houses. This 4th house, it has a specific income, not just the income restriction, but also is available to people who are suffering from housing instability or insecurity. So if you know anyone who is couch surfing, for lack of a better, more secure option, or is in danger of losing the rental that they are currently inhabiting, or is living in unsafe conditions and has always dreamed of homeownership, please send them our way, since there might be some opportunities for us to hook them up with a brand new house, which is really doesn't happen very often. So with that, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Enjoy your night.
Thank you, guys.
Night, everyone.
Night. Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you.